Right now I'm in the studio with my friend and fellow artist, Rontherin. I love his work, sculpture. I think you do sculpture and painting and installation. Or tell us what you.
I do a little bit of it all. I came to art through commercial art, doing graphic design, a lot of mural projects, growing up with the youth organization Yaya, and I'm now working in more of a contemporary strain, doing assemblages and sculptures, a lot of found objects, mixed media assemblages, and yeah, just combining a lot of the information that I gained through commercial art, through symbolism and sort of object association, and just playing with how I can create narratives with the sort of associations we have with a lot of the objects that I find. Now those objects can kind of create new stories or different narratives.
You say you started off in commercial art. When did you move from the commercial art to the fine art? How long ago?
It was really, I would say, yeah, after Hurricane Katrina, probably. Working in commercial art, it was easier to sort of create what other people wanted, and it's like people came to you with their ideas, and it was just my job to sort of produce that and give it back to them. And so I never really spent a lot of time thinking about really sharing my own story or my own narrative, and coming back to the city after the storm and thinking about that whole experience. I was given an opportunity by Jan Gilbert, who had an opportunity to exhibit with Diverse Works in Houston, and so she offered me an opportunity to exhibit and create something. And so I took that opportunity to tell one of the Katrina story experiences by building out these 3 house installations that spoke about my experience of venturing into my grandmother's house to collect things and how that all played out. So, but that act of sharing, it was a scary thing. It's you leave yourself vulnerable to people's opinion of your experiences.
Yeah, I know all that.
And so, but also it was refreshing, and it was like, it was like kind of just putting the information out there and processing things through art. And so to me that was just like an eye-opening kind of experience, and it was like a door open, and I was like, all right, I think this is a path I want to go down. And so that's what kind of led me down this road. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with most of the stuff I do now, just kind of layering just personal narratives, life experience of those around me.
Yeah. So you say you used to direct Yaya. How long you been involved in the art world?
I joined the program when I was a teenager in high school, and being an alumni of the program, I stayed involved. But as they came back and tried to rebuild, I came on board as a staff member in 2008. And so I started out as a studio manager and then worked my way up over the last maybe 8 years to the artistic director position. But that was just, for me, that time spent was wanting to sort of see this opportunity continue to exist for students that had existed for me previously, and so it's like if I can invest this time and another group of kids get to sort of, you know, have their talent fostered through it, you know,
Yeah.
on board, you know. You know, I never saw myself really working with kids. I mean, when I was asked, I was like, no, I don't think I want to work with kids. That's not, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, through the process, I learned that, you know, they were artists, and as an artist, it was easy to relate to them because we had the same drives and passion and desire to just be creative and express. So that made it easy to exist in this youth organization with artists, other artists, you know.
Yeah. So I gotta ask this question. You're one of the few, I think, black artists that don't directly put blackness in your art. How does that work, not work? What's your kind of reason? I love what you do. You know, I've got one or two pieces. One of your pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your?
I mean, I think for me, I don't know how to explain it, but I guess.
I mean, you could say that, like this piece right here, you could say that, you know, a lot of different cultures and communities use those items in the way you put them together. You could see whoever you want to in them.
I mean, and I guess, yeah. I mean, for me, a lot of what I do comes from out my head. You know, it's thoughts, it's experiences, and part of me, it's trying to share those experiences with the world and have it where one, I guess, everybody can enter into them and kind of find, you know, where maybe they've had that similar experience. I mean, and so for me, the work is really, it's just about sharing thoughts, you know, and I think just on a human level, I guess for me, I have a curiosity just for like human behavior, human nature, how we exist. And, I mean, I think growing up in New Orleans, it has its sort of, you know, I don't know, its cultural influences on who I am as an artist and as an individual. And so that'll show up in my work. I mean, and maybe you need to, you know, maybe it would have to be explained, or, you know, it comes out
if you're not from New Orleans. I mean, if you're from New Orleans and you see the lap siding on the side of the piece, and you see the stained glass or the bricks, you know a little bit. But say, for instance, you're showing in London or somewhere like that.
Yeah, you'd have to, you know, there'd have to be some kind of dialogue of like, why I chose this material, what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm working out of New Orleans, and so all material, you know,
it comes from
mostly comes from New Orleans. So it's a general like reflection of the city and my experiences, and that is kind of what I'm trying to show in the work. I mean, and just the question of blackness, it's like, I mean, I'm an African American artist, so it's like by default.
Do you need to know anymore, right?
You know,
it's like
what I do. This is, you know, and it's like
it's got my
I'm
DNA.
not, you know, it's like I do. I mean, it's not deliberate, but like I don't do a lot of like figurative work, so you don't see figurative images of African American, but the work in itself is by and about an African American experience, and so
or your culture, and
you know, sort of introducing, I don't know, I mean, myself, the work to the world that way, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a subtle human way. It's not about necessarily one specific thing, like the piece up there with the soul. It's the St. Joe brick, or at least when we see bricks in New Orleans, we think of the St. Joe brick.
Yeah.
But now when you put the word soul, souls, which could mean a lot of different things, and the one above you put the word dream.
And in those pieces, like the brick in general, like the St. Joe brick is where those glass castings came out of. And I mean, New Orleans is a very, it's a religious and very Catholic city. And so, just those influences, I grew up, I have a very religious background, and there's Catholic and Baptist like influences, but thinking about what St. Joe meant and being sort of like the patron saint of the buildings, and so just thinking about that notion of protection and what it meant. And so for me, that project was about taking these words, trying to find 5-letter words and sending them out to friends of mine who weren't back home at the time, but like on that list for them, like what if they had to pick one of these 5 words, what would it be? And that sort of represented home for them. And so dreams and souls were like a few of the words that came back. And so I took those words and casted them onto the brick in replace of the St. Joe. And so they're different. And so then I took the bricks and sort of tried to use them to speak about different aspects of New Orleans, whereas this one talks a little bit about, it's about sort of, the flooding and, what happened to the Lower Ninth Ward and all the theories around the barge and what happened, but also thinking about the lives that was lost and that, just from that incident alone. Dreams for me was like thinking about these ideas of like, home ownership. Establishing a foundation and a community that, I want to like see continue to thrive, and to be able to do that, you have to be in it, and so it's like, those dreams and ambitions and the challenges you face to try to achieve them.
Yeah. A great interview with Rontherin. You can find him at rontherin.com, RONTHERIN.com. That's RONTHERIN.com. He also has a show up right now, July through September 2016, on Governor's Island. This is a piece I purchased from Rontherin. It's reclaimed found objects made into a sandwich. And if you are familiar with New Orleans, and we love our sandwiches, our po' boys and mufaladas and so forth. So when I saw this piece, I instantly made the references and connections. You can take the top slice of bread off, and you have marbles. I played marbles as a kid. There's like plaster, old reclaimed cans, pieces of wood from old houses, and I love this little telephone, like the old phones we used to use. So it really spoke to me. I love it.Rontherin's a great artist. I hope you guys check him out online. And if you're in New York, go to Governor's Island and see his show.